Hello, 8th grade. I'm creating this video to answer a question that I was asked in regards to the assignment that you had for today. Now, obviously, since I'm recording this video late, you don't have to worry about answering it today, which is Tuesday, March 31st. Go ahead and submit the answers on April 1st, so you don't have to. It's not going to be counted as late. Don't worry about that. However, what this video is going to be about is answering the question, is to clarify question number 5 on page 319 of the Comprehension Check. Now, question number 5 says, notebook, confirm your understanding of the excerpt by creating a storyboard of events. Now, what might be difficult for some of you to understand is the concept of storyboard. What is a storyboard? It's not something that we've actually discussed in class. I will discuss it briefly here. That way you have the option of answering it one of two ways. Right? The first one is actually creating a storyboard. What a storyboard is, try to think of it as like a comic book, right? Where you're trying to tell a story, but the story doesn't have the same sequence or cannot be told in the same way as text can tell a story. Right? It's very fluid when it's in a text. When it's a storyboard, like I said, it's as if it were a comic book or a comic strip in a newspaper, where you have blocks of images in sequence, but each one has a scene in it. There's a scene where the characters are interacting with each other, and you get snippets of the interaction that the characters have, but one scene at a time. Alright, so what they're asking you to do is to create a storyboard for the selection, which is basically creating a series of scenes or images in which specific characters interact with each other and tell the story. Right, you still have to go through and tell the story from beginning to end in the same sequence as they do in the selection, and provide enough detail that allows me to understand that you read the story and that you understand what occurred. Now, that is one option that you do have. Like I said, as it is something that we did not actually discuss in class, I'm not going to hold you to actually doing that. It would be a good exercise. I think you should attempt to do it, and you will certainly get credit for the attempt. I will not be too hard on you in grading it, and I will help you in trying to actually understand how storyboards work, because they're actually very interesting. Comic books can be very interesting for a lot of people. The format in which a comic book uses, or the format that a comic book uses, is fun and interesting. It is used significantly in movies. Movies are first written as a screenplay. Then when they go to adapt the screenplay into an actual movie, they use a storyboard in order to create, to understand visually how that story is going to work. So perhaps it might assist you in thinking of it in that context. If you were going to make this into a short story, into a short movie, what scenes do you think would be necessary in order to convey the same message that the text is conveying? Right? If you were going to make this into a movie or a short film on YouTube, how would you do that? What scenes would you believe are necessary in order to get the story across? Right? So these are the things that storyboard is going to revolve around. Being able to tell the story in scenes. Now, as I've been mentioning, since it isn't something that we've actually discussed in class, I'm not going to hold you to actually having to do a storyboard for the assignment. You do have the option of writing a summary, which is something that you guys have been doing with the other comprehension checks. So in order to make it easier if you don't understand what the storyboard is, or if you do not feel that you can do it well enough, right? If you still have doubts, again, if you have doubts, you can always message me or email me to make sure that those doubts are taken care of. But if you feel more comfortable and you think you will do a better job in writing simply a summary of the text, that is fine. That is certainly acceptable. You can go ahead and write a summary and not worry about the storyboard. However, like I mentioned, it is very important that I reiterate, the storyboards are very important to understand. It's very important to understand their value. It's very important to understand how they are created. And it's very important to understand when they are used. So my suggestion would be to, if you can, if you feel comfortable in attempting it, to create a storyboard. But if you still have doubts and you need to hand in the work, go ahead and write a summary. Make sure that the summary is at least one paragraph. Again, paragraphs need to be 5 sentences or more, no less than 5 sentences. So that would cover question number 5 in the comprehension check on page 319 from the selection from Follow the Rabbit Proof Fence. So if you have any more questions, please let me know, and I'll either respond in email, chat, or produce another video so you will be able to have your doubts answered. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.